You've been told that love is simple, that if you're kind enough, present enough, available enough, she'll stay. You've been told that being a good man is enough. It isn't. And somewhere, deep beneath the surface of every relationship you've watched collapse, every woman who slowly grew cold, every connection that died, not with a fight, but with a silence, you already know this. The problem was never your effort. The problem is that you've been meeting the wrong needs, the visible ones, the ones she talks about. And what she talks about is almost never what she actually requires. Machiavelli understood something that most men in history refuse to accept. People do not operate on what they say, they operate on what they feel. And feelings are not random. They are governed by invisible laws. Laws that reward those who understand them and punish, quietly, mercilessly, those who don't. This is not a video about how to manipulate women. This is a video about how to stop being invisible to them. There are 7 needs. Deep, primal, psychological needs that almost no man ever meets. Not because he's weak, but because no one ever told him they existed. Today, that changes. The need to feel chosen, not settled for. Here is the first brutal truth. She doesn't want to be loved by default. She wants to be loved by decision. There is a profound psychological difference between a man who stays because leaving seems difficult and a man who stays because he has looked at the world and chosen, deliberately, to anchor himself to her. Women can feel this distinction in ways they cannot articulate but cannot ignore. Most men become comfortable. They stop choosing. They assume that presence is the same as devotion. It is not. A prison cell is present with you every day. That doesn't make it love. The powerful man chooses her in small, deliberate, visible ways. Not grand gestures. Those are theatre. He chooses her in the morning when he could be distracted and isn't. He chooses her in the argument when he could be cruel and refuses to be. He chooses her by being someone worth choosing. And then, with full awareness of his own value, choosing her anyway. That is the first law. Be someone who has options and then exercise the option of her. That asymmetry, power voluntarily surrendered, is the most intoxicating experience a woman can have. The need for a world with edges. You have been taught to be accommodating, to soften your edges, to be fluid, to bend, to adjust. And slowly, you have become shapeless. A shapeless man cannot anchor anyone. You cannot hold on to water. Women need a man who has a world, a defined, structured, non-negotiable internal world. Not a rigid man, a rooted one. There is a difference. Rigidity is fear wearing armor. Rootedness is clarity wearing confidence. Most men, when they enter a relationship, begin to dissolve into it. Their hobbies disappear. Their opinions become negotiations. Their identity becomes a mirror of what she seems to want. And she watches this happen with a quiet, growing dread. Because she didn't fall for a mirror. She fell for a man. The powerful man has a center of gravity so strong that she orbits him without being trapped. She is drawn not because he demands it, but because stillness is rare. Because direction is magnetic. Because a man who knows who he is represents safety at the deepest psychological level. The safety of structure in a chaotic world. Define your world. Protect its edges, let her into it, but do not let her redesign it. The need to be seen without performing. She is exhausted, not physically, existentially. Every day she performs. For the world, for social expectations, for the role she's supposed to occupy. She performs with capability, composure, certainty. And beneath all of it, there is a version of her that is terrified of being seen and terrified of never being seen. This is the paradox that destroys most relationships. Men either see the performance and fall in love with it, which is useless, or they try to force vulnerability like it's a door they can kick down, which is worse. The powerful man creates conditions. He doesn't demand openness. He doesn't reward performance with praise that reinforces the mask. He simply remains, consistently, non-judgmentally, unshockably present, until the performance becomes too exhausting to maintain. He is a space where she doesn't have to win anything. This requires something most men cannot offer: the absence of ego in the moment. The ability to receive her without making her vulnerable about you, without flinching, without fixing, without flattening her complexity into a problem you can solve. Be the room she doesn't have to perform in. That room becomes sacred. Sacred things are never abandoned. The need for calibrated tension. Now, we enter territory most men are afraid to touch. Comfort is not the same as attraction. Safety is not the same as desire. And no one has told you this clearly enough, so hear it now. A woman who feels completely, perpetually, perfectly comfortable with you will eventually feel nothing for you at all. This is not cruelty, this is neuropsychology. The human nervous system requires contrast to generate feelings. No contrast, no charge. No charge, no gravity. The men who understand this do not create chaos. Amateurs create chaos and call it confidence. They create calibrated tension. The slight unpredictability of a man who has an inner life you can't fully map. The space that comes from a man who doesn't need to fill every silence with reassurance. She should occasionally wonder what you're thinking, not because you're hiding anything sinister, but because you are genuinely complex, because you have depth that cannot be consumed in a single conversation or a single year, because you are always slightly ahead of where she thinks you are. The man who is entirely predictable, entirely available, entirely legible. He has handed her his full blueprint, and once a structure is completely understood, it stops being interesting. Remain in motion, remain partially mysterious. Not through games, but through genuine depth that cannot be faked. The need to witness controlled power. Women do not want weakness, and they do not want brutality. They want something the modern world has nearly destroyed. A man who has power and governs it. This is not about dominance. It is about self-mastery as a spectacle of safety. When you remain calm in the moment that demands panic, that is power. When you speak difficult truths without rage, that is power. When you absorb pressure without transferring it to those around you, that is a form of strength so rare it borders on mythological in contemporary life. Most men either suppress their power entirely, becoming soft and non-threatening and invisible, or they leak it destructively, through anger, through jealousy, through control. Both are failures of the same discipline. The Machiavellian principle here is ancient. The man who controls himself controls the room, and the man who controls the room without needing anyone to acknowledge it. He controls something far more valuable than attention. He controls trust. She needs to see you tested. She needs to see you hold. Because in her deepest psychology, she is evaluating not just who you are today, but who you will be when life becomes difficult, when the architecture of comfort collapses. Will you be a foundation or a casualty? Become the kind of man whose composure under pressure tells her everything she needs to know. The need for elevation, not validation. Here is where most well-intentioned men fail completely. They believe that love means telling her she is perfect, that support means agreeing, that devotion means never challenging. And so they build a palace of mirrors around her, reflecting only what she wants to see. And they call it love. It is a cage made of compliments. The woman who is genuinely loved, not worshipped, not managed but loved, is the woman who is pushed toward the edge of her own potential by someone who refuses to lie to her about what she's capable of. She needs a man who sees not just who she is, but who she could become, and holds that vision with more steadiness than she holds her own doubts. This requires you to have standards, not for performance, not for appearance, for growth, for integrity, for courage. The man who challenges her gently but honestly, who says, "You're better than this decision," and means it without contempt. That man becomes irreplaceable, because everyone else will flatter her. You are the only one who will forge her. Stop performing adoration. Start practicing genuine elevation. That is the difference between a fan and a partner. The need to feel your irreplaceability. This is the final law, and it is the most uncomfortable. She needs to know, not through your words, but through the total architecture of your presence, that you cannot be replicated. Not because you have told her she won't find better, not through manufactured scarcity or manipulation, but because the combination of your depth, your vision, your discipline, your growth, your interior world, is genuinely singular. Most men are interchangeable. They have the same insecurities, the same defaults, the same collapse under pressure, the same desperate need for her approval. She has seen the script before. She will leave it, even when it's comfortable, because mediocrity is a slow suffocation. You become irreplaceable, not by trying harder, but by becoming more intentional, more developed, more grounded in something larger than her opinion of you. The paradox is devastating and precise. The man who does not need her to complete him is the man she cannot imagine life without. Build yourself into something that cannot be easily replicated, not for her, for the version of you that deserves to stand in the presence of someone extraordinary and not feel like a fraud. The moment of transformation. Now stop! The man who walked into this video, the one still waiting to be chosen, still softening his edges, still performing kindness in place of power, that man has to die here. Not in anger, in clarity. You cannot carry him forwards. He was not built for what you're building toward. He was constructed by a world that needed you manageable, agreeable, non-threatening. A world that profits from your smallness. You are allowed to outgrow that. This is not a permission slip, it is a demand. The version of you that understands these 7 laws but does nothing with them is more culpable than the man who never knew. Because ignorance is a shield, understanding is a responsibility. Kill the softness that was weakness disguised as virtue. Keep the strength that was always there, buried under years of being told it was too much. Through doorway, most people will watch this and feel something for 40 minutes. Then the feeling will fade and they will return to who they were. That is not failure. That is the natural gravity of comfort. But a small number, you know who you are, will feel something shift that does not shift back. A reorientation so complete that returning to the old architecture is no longer possible. Those are the men this was made for. Not the ones who want to be better at getting women. The ones who want to be better at being men. Who understands that attraction is not a trick, but a byproduct. The shadow cast by something genuinely powerful standing in light. 7 needs. Almost no one meets them. Not because they're secret, but because meeting them requires you to first become someone uncommon. Begin. If this opens something in you that you cannot close, that is not coincidence. Subscribe only if you intend to continue. This channel is not for everyone. It was never meant to be. The door is here. Most will read the sign and walk away. Step through, or don't, but make the choice consciously. For once in your life, make the choice consciously.